Let's talk about 3 different builds for EO. A standard build optimized for maximum DPS, a defensive flight over fight build, and a supportive battery build for speedrun and skipping purposes. We covered general DPS optimization previously, but pushing your potential damage to the absolute maximum requires a specific build. The first point that I've mentioned in previous videos is the Split Awakening Sigil. This is only really important for min-maxing, as this frees up an orange slot for Glass Cannon. If not using Glass Cannon, it's not that important. Each character sigil should have a relevant orange that's core to your build, whether that's quick charge, damage cap, or even a general damage line such as stamina. The next important point is maxing out both Cascade and quick cooldown. Cascade caps out at 20 levels, meaning that you need it on 1 sigil and ideally 4 levels on the right stone. Quick cooldown requires 3 sigils to max it out. But how much do these affect your rotation and gameplay? Let's lay it all out. Quick cooldown gives up to 20% cooldown reduction. This value scales very strangely, so it's recommended to run either 1 or 3 of them. Having a maxed out QCD helps to reduce the downtime between skills, smoothing out the rotation considerably. However, the one that many are confused about is Cascade. How exactly does it work, and how effective is it? To summarize briefly, it reduces your remaining cooldowns by a small percent when hitting enemies, varying based on the skill. With a typical rotation, these are the following reductions you can expect on various skill cooldowns. While low cooldown skills such as freeze and fire only get reduced by just a bit more than a second, high cooldown skills like Flowery 7 get a third of their cooldown shaved off, extremely significant for longer fights, though you won't notice too much of a difference versus the dummy if you're using that as a point of comparison. In a real combat scenario, you can't realistically have perfect uptime and rotations. Or can you? Let's now look into a more specialized build to focus on maximizing uptime. The key player to this is Nimble Onslaught, which not only gives you more SBA and cooldown reduction, but extends your base 3-second invincibility after perfect dodging by another 3 seconds. This additional invulnerability does not stack with similar effects. The highest time is used when multiple are present. However, no matter how gamer you are, getting consistent perfect dodges can be pretty hard. That's where Flight or Fight comes in, which makes any of your dodges count as perfect dodge as long as you flip through any attack. But it comes at a huge minus 50% final attack modifier, meaning your damage is effectively cut in half. This makes Flight over Fight a drug that not only breaks your damage, but also slowly makes you more and more reliant on it as you play. Though it can be quite useful in learning new content or soloing messy fights. Yes, there are moments where you could gain additional uptime versus perfect play due to it, but the primary purpose of Flight over Fight is to not learn fights properly and unga bunga invoing your way through them. Just to put a reference out there, when I went into Wolfen Vale solo for literally the first time, I still got an 11-minute clear time, which isn't bad at all for having literally no practice. If it gets the job done, can you really complain? Let's quickly take a look at the build. Io is lucky in that she only needs a minimal amount of raw damage to cap, so we just replace the supplementary damage slots with more raw damage. As such, we effectively lose 20% damage potential from the supplementary damage, but gain so much more in uptime. Of course, if you're a gamer and you can hit those perfect dodges without glider fight, you can be that much more powerful, but let's be real, most of us aren't. Just remember that just because you're running dodge stuff doesn't mean that you should be spamming dodge. Focus on your normal rotation and only use dodges to refresh invincibility to make sure you get that sweet uptime. Io has a very strong place in speedrun parties due to a combination of her high burst damage, paralyze, and fast SBA generation. Especially when using the meme SBA features I described in a previous video, this makes Io a complete powerhouse in this role. With that in mind, here's the build. We'll want a ton of raw damage to maximize our SBA, while also taking 3 uplifts so we could reach that SBA much faster. While quick charge doesn't do much for your SBA damage, it speeds up your rotation and thus your charge. Of course, the amount of charge gain that's required differs based on the fight and your party, but in any case, it's better to have too much than too little. If you didn't see the SBA meme video, here's the TLDR. Use Stargaze 5 right before using your SBA to increase its damage cap by 10-fold. The SBA's initial hits are near impossible to cap with this, so that's what all the raw damage is for. That's it for the 3 different playstyles I wanted to cover. I am curious to see how things will turn out for Lucilius. I can definitely see all 3 of these builds being used there. Which one is your favorite? Do let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys next time!